Tonight's episode of the Natalie Show right here on GHOne TV. This evening we come to you from the heart of Accra, the Accra City Hotel. Tonight I'm honored to be sitting with a woman who serves as the founder and president of the Thyroid Ghana Foundation, Nana GHOne. Now she sits with me and shares her journey battling Graves' disease and how she's now committed her life's purpose really to helping persons living with thyroid-related conditions. Nana, you're welcome to the Natalie Show. It's so very good to have you.
Great to have you too.
How are you doing? How is life treating you?
Oh, very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we always start the show by asking, what's the state of Nana Adwo's life right now as we sit?
Oh, the state of my life is good. Day in, day out, I'm encouraged because I'm able to help people. And that's what drives me. Saving lives is what drives me.
Saving lives is what drives you?
Exactly. Yeah? So I'm fine. Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah.
You're happy. You're fulfilled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very fulfilled.
Very fulfilled. Amazing.
Very.
Have you always been fulfilled by saving lives? Has that always been you?
Yeah, that has always been me because I've worked most of my working life in a hospital environment. Before I had the Graves' disease, I was working in a hospital environment. I've worked with different hospitals. So saving life has always been what it is.
Been what it is for
exactly.
you.
It is what it is. Yeah.
And before we get to the disease really and that journey for you, take me some many years back. What was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood was very humble. I grew up from a very humble beginning.
Right.
Way back in a small town where everyone knew everybody, called Goso in the Ahafo region.
Right.
And now it's a district capital. At the time it wasn't. It was a very small town. Everybody knew everyone. Yeah. So that was how my childhood was like. It was very humble.
Very humble.
And in a family of 13 from my father's side. 13? Yes, and 3 from my mother's side. Yeah.
13 children from your father's side.
Yeah.
So that's 13, 14, 15, 16. So you're 16 in total?
We are 13 in total.
In total. So did you live with all?
Yeah, at a certain point in time. But most of them, my elderly ones were in school.
Right.
And some of them started working and moving around different parts of Accra and different parts of the world.
Right.
So, but I live with most of the time with my mother.
With your mother.
Yes,
yeah.
Also.
So when you say it was humble, what's your description of humble? Is it by virtue of what your parents did for a living? What did they do?
Okay, so if I say it was humble, it was humble means I've really slept on an empty stomach. Yes, and I've really lived in luxury before. Right. So I know how it is like if somebody says they are hungry, and I know how it is like somebody says they are really happy, joyful, and out there.
You've tasted both sides of it. Right.
Exactly. So that makes it humble because if you taste both sides of it, when somebody says I'm at the left side of the coin or at the flip side of the coin, you understand it. If they say they are the other side too, you understand it. Yes.
So growing up in Goso and such a small community, what sort of a future as a young girl did you envision for yourself?
Okay. So I had always wanted to be at Goso. We used to gather around these black and white television powered by those times there was no light. Right. Powered by car batteries.
Wow.
Oh yes. Powered by car batteries. Right. So we used to gather around television those times where you see those old people and all that, and then where it's news time, you have to. My mother always wanted to listen to the news, at least so you know what is going on in other parts of Ghana. And then I had always wanted to be a newscaster. I wanted to be in that space.
I'm sure you'd have been
in a certain point of life. So education was my focus, and my mother made sure that we had that kind of life. I mean, you can't miss a school.
You can't?
Yes, you can't.
School was key.
Yes, school was key. And then at a certain point in time, we had to do classes so that we could pass our exams. Yes, home classes.
Okay, so it was a very academic,
and Christian life.
And Christian.
You can't also miss church.
You can't miss church. You can't miss school.
No.
Okay.
You can't.
Right.
Yes.
Was it enjoyable though?
Yeah, very, because I mean on Sundays you go to Sunday school And after Sunday school, you come home, you eat your meal, you do your homework. When you have classes, you do your classes and all that. When there's somebody sick after church, you go and visit the person. All
good values. I mean, it sounds like a childhood that actually really instills good values. Very wholesome sort of childhood. Nice. I like that. So, did you see yourself leaving Goso?
At a certain point, because I saw my elderly ones leaving. So I knew that I'll also leave at a certain point in time.
So when you were charting your own path, what was that like for you?
Okay, so there was one school that I so much dreamt of attending, secondary school, Yasantua Girls, and I really went there. It was a dream to go there. I had always said, I'll go to Yasantua.
What did you like about it?
Oh, because I had heard of the name Yasantua and that woman who led that, and then a school like that. So I felt like when you're in such a school, the kind of a woman you want to be,
makes sense.
Exactly. So I always dreamt of being in that school.
And that's where you went
there. Yes.
That's a dream come true.
Oh yes.
Was it what you thought it would be?
Oh yes, it was, because as at then the headmistress then was another Yasantua. So I mean, it was really properly training. Unlike now, I mean, you know how now things are where
changed.
It was, I mean,
it was principle. So you're a person who enjoys principle and discipline, right? So after Yasantua, after you got that box checked, what then did you carry on to do next, and where did your professional life begin?
Okay, so along the line, I just changed the focus from being on TV to being an entrepreneur, because my mom was. And I saw that her being an entrepreneur and how she was able to help us through our work, our academic life. Because my dad later was a pensioner, so it was everything basically was my mom. So how being an entrepreneur and she was being able to support us. So along the line, I felt like, it's good to sell things. So when I went to uni, I used to sell and also school at the same time.
What were you selling?
I was selling lipstick, lip gloss, nail polish, and all those things.
Was it lucrative?
Oh yes, very.
Amazing.
I was making a lot of money. So it carried me through. And after school, I started running a boutique.
Oh, did you? Fashion, like clothing or makeup, or everything?
Clothing, jewelry.
Nice.
And then I also started learning how to make beads. So the beads that I'm wearing, I made this.
You make these?
Yes. I still make my own beads.
Oh, beautiful. And you still sell for commercially?
No.
You don't need the money anymore?
No, I don't have the time.
It's not about the money.
I don't have the time. I don't have the time, yes.
Oh, but your beads, you should at some point anyway.
Oh, now the focus has shifted to saving lives.
Anyway,
so
that makes sense.
I mean, a patient will call you, they need your attention.
It's a busy schedule.
Kind of
It's a busy schedule.
And I mean, I place life first to money.
So after you did all this, I mean, a bit of fashion, entrepreneurship, when did healthcare start for you? Okay,
so healthcare started when I was sent to the University of Ghana Medical School for my national service. And then along the way, I was part of a team in a department of hematology, where it was an all-inclusive department. They didn't really care about somebody's doing their national service, and so you learn. I mean, you do everything. You're part of that.
They give you the platform to
So when there are research, you are involved in it and all that. Getting to know more about health-related conditions, and that is where the healthcare thing started.
Right. Your first institution you worked at, healthcare, aside this one?
After that, they took me on.
Okay, and then that's so then you were fully employed there, right? And serving there for how long?
So I was employed there in 2002, and I was there till 2017 when I moved to corporate. I wanted to taste corporate life because along the line I used to hear that in corporate institutions different things are done, so I wanted to taste corporate life. So I took leave without pay for 2 years to be in corporate.
Oh, you took leave without pay for 2 years to be in corporate.
To know.
Are you a risk taker?
Yes, I am.
You're calm. But you're a risk taker. You can fool people. I
took 2 years to go and taste corporate, how corporate is. And then I landed in a beauty shop. I worked at Alio. Yes, for some time. Those times where Alio was
at
the ANC Mall branch.
Exciting, right?
Yeah. Then after that, I moved to the Hunger Project because I wanted to also to know more about research.
Yeah.
So, but research in a corporate environment.
In a corporate. And this was all within this 2-year period, right? What did you pick up from these 2 experiences?
Okay, so I realized that in corporate you set targets.
Right.
And you must achieve it, so that's where your promotion comes from. Unlike in government sector, it's long service.
It's long service.
Exactly. So the 2 things. So you always have to set your targets, and it's mandatory. Your supervisor had to help you. You set it together, and then there are tools provided for you to achieve your set targets. So that became a driving force. And then when I went back, I did things differently.
You did things differently. More self-motivated.
Exactly.
I guess, right?
So you had to make sure that you read ahead of time. Even if you want to do something, you do research into it.
Right.
And then that is where you know it will even help you to know what you want to do, and then informs what you have to achieve and all that. So it was good.
Absolutely. Now, having worked in healthcare for so long, just reflecting, did you ever have any, of course we all get sick here and there throughout our lives, did you have any health conditions, say growing up, that you observed and you knew of at a certain stage, even before the Graves' disease was realized?
Yeah, so at my younger age, I used to be called that I had anemia. So mostly I was anemic, mostly I'm pale. So when I'm going to school, I'm given a lot of vitamins to take along with and all that. So when I went to do my national service at Department of Hematology, where anemia falls under one of the things that they do, I got to learn about it. I got to know more about it. I got to know food that will help me not to be anemic in any point in time. So it was good, and I learned a lot as to what to do. When
it helped you to treat your work, helped you to treat yourself.
Yes, really. And to know more about it and what it can also degenerate into.
Right.
So I was on top of it to be taking my medicine. Initially, I used to really not care about it because I didn't know much about it. So, but it helped me a lot.
It helped you.
Yeah.
Now, just very briefly, because we'll go on a short break and return. But what was the moment like when you realized when Graves' disease came into the picture? Really, what was that process like, if you remember, like the day?
So I had Graves' disease, I'll say 7 years back. That was like 2016. I started being ill without really what it is. I lost a lot of weight and all that, and it took almost 8 months prior to how I was diagnosed that was what I had. Because the symptoms kept changing.
What are the symptoms?
So I lost weight. I became very dark. I used to be fairer than this. I was very fair. I still didn't go back to how I was, but I'm looking better. And I lost about 25 kg from initially how I was. And I also became, I had brittle nails. My nails became very soft. I used to have what we called, let me not use big scientific words. Like you see, when you straighten and then you be shivering like that, like somebody have like Parkinson's diseases. Let me just I had to just use that. So I used to shiver. So when mostly when you go to the hospital, they tell you to straighten your hand. They'll put a paper, and then the paper will be blowing as if like there's a wind blowing there when there's no wind. I used to have that also. I lost my hair, so I had to start my hair all over again. And now I haven't even touched it with any.
I see that. It's beautiful.
Yes,
very beautiful.
So these are some of the symptoms. There are others that I didn't experience. The other one that I remember was I had my foot swollen, what we call edema. So when you press, it takes a while before it comes up. There are times it could be painful. There are times it wasn't painful. I had joint pains and all that. It was a lot to deal with. And that time I had a fresh baby as well. So it wasn't. It was tough. It was.
Now, you appear to be a calm yet strong person, but I'd imagine that this could have broken you.
Oh, yeah. Really. Along the line, there are times I would be in my room and cry and tell God that, oh, I prayed for a child. I prayed for a specific child to be born on a specific day. I got all that. Okay. I told God I was not ready to come home, so He should restore my health. And that day was the day that I was properly diagnosed.
You were properly diagnosed. And you were prayerful too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk a bit more about this discovery. Getting diagnosed, realizing what you had, and then treating it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Stay with us here on the Natalie Ford Show. Welcome back to the Natalie Ford Show. Now, I've been in conversation with Nana Ajwa-Jani, and she's the founder and president of the Thyroid Ghana Foundation. Now, Nana Ajwa, you prayed for a child.
Yeah.
You got the child on the day that I need to learn. Right. You got the child on the day that you had prayed for it.
Yeah, and the sex too.
And the sex, girl or boy?
The boy.
A boy.
My last baby is a boy.
Wonderful. So you got it, really, what you had prayed for. But something accompanied that during that period, and that was discovering that you had Graves' disease. And you've explained how it's you sort of the symptoms you had. Yeah. Right. You said on a specific day you prayed that God, you didn't pray for this. I mean, you didn't pray for a disease. Yeah. So God should enable you be healed,
to
right?
restore my health.
Restore your health.
Because I was not ready to come home.
You were not ready to come home. Wow. Okay. So, and then there was the day that you found out what you had.
Yeah, it was the day that day I had a clinic. Right. So early morning, I raised my son and I told God that God, because before then it was difficult even raising him up because I lacked a lot of energy and all that. Eating was a bit of a problem. So I had really lost 25 kg. So you could imagine how I was looking like. I raised him up to God. No. You couldn't. So my son really didn't have enough of no, not at all. So he was on artificial formula.
Right. Oh my.
So I raised him up and I said, God, you gave me this baby. I asked for a boy.
Right.
I asked for him to be born on a Saturday. And he came out on a Saturday. And you want to take my life. Who will take care of him? I'm not ready to come home. So today, as I go for my review, let there be a diagnosis. So that was what I prayed.
Right.
I mean, when I was praying, I was crying to God. So when I went to the hospital, I met a friend, a doctor friend, who I had not seen during that battle for a while, because she used to treat me. She's a gastrologist. She used to treat me for ulcer, because I used to also suffer ulcer issues. And during the period, I had gone to look for her, and I was told she had gone for a training in the US. So I met her in the corridor. I called her. She turned and she was going. And she's also called Adjoa. So I used to call her Mini Adjoa. So when I mentioned that, then she turned. She was like, Nana Adjoa, what's wrong? Because I had become that. And mostly people see me and they pass. But that phase, I was happy. Those who see me and they don't recognize me. But when they ask you, what is wrong with you? I didn't know what was wrong. So when they ask you, sometimes it brings you down. It makes you feel very like, hey, is this how I'm really going? You know, you feel like you're really withering off. Like how a plant wither off, kind of a thing. So I mean, when they see me and they pass, I was excited. But when I saw her and she was like, what was wrong with you? And I told her, that time I had done a lot of labs and they didn't know what was wrong with me.
Why was it so hard for them to detect though?
Because of the symptoms. The symptoms looks like a lot of other conditions. You know, loss of weight. When somebody's sugar is high, like diabetes, the person will loses weight. When somebody has liver problems, they lose weight. You know, so the symptoms. So I had done all those labs to determine exactly what was wrong. So when I met her, she took my folder whilst we were walking to her office. She was flipping whilst we were walking. So when we got to her office, she's also for mommy. So she knelt in front of me, held my hand, and she prayed. Because I was telling her, I've been here, I've seen this doctor, I've seen this consultants and all that. Because I was working in the same hospital. When I come to you 2-3 times and nothing, I moved to another person. I knew almost everybody. So she was like, God, show us that it was one Friday. So after she went through my folder, she said, Nanaja, I think you have Graves' disease.
And this was just by going through the folder?
It was just by going through, because she saw all the tests I had done and all that. She said she thinks I have Graves' disease because of the symptoms and the notes that her other colleague had written. And she going through that, she thinks I have Graves' disease. So I should do the test. It's Friday. She wrote the prescription in addition. It looks like she was so sure that's what I had.
Yeah, that's what she had.
So she wrote the prescription. She said as soon as the test is ready, it will be ready the following day. I should send it to her. If she needs to, let me increase the dosage, because that medication is a prescription drug, so she had to write it. So she wrote it for me. So when the test came, I read it. I read the test, and I saw the range. Mine was so high. So really what she had suspected had confirmed. Exactly. So I sent it to her, and she said, okay, instead of taking 2 tablets 2 times a day, I should take 4 tablets. 4 tablets 3 times a day. So I started, and within
Were you working?
month,
No.
Yeah, I was working, but I was working from my car, because my office was on the 2nd floor, and I couldn't climb, but there was no elevator. Yes. So mostly when I get to the office,
come to work, but sit in the car to work.
I sit in my car. Things that I need to review and sign, they bring it. I'll do that, and I'll go home.
But why were you still working?
I didn't want to be defeated. I felt like staying at home. It was a defeat.
You get sick quicker.
Exactly, it was like a defeat. I didn't want to feel like I was defeated. No. So I'll go, even though my boss didn't like the idea. But I told him that no, Prof, I just want to come so that I feel like I'm still able to go in and come.
So you couldn't climb the stairs?
No, I couldn't.
Wow. Was your home a bungalow?
Yeah, my home was a regular.
Thankfully. Thankfully. Wow. So did you have a sense of relief or a sense of panic? Because yes, now God has answered your prayer. Your friend has supported, and you know what you have. On one hand, you're thankful that God has answered the prayer, but then on another hand, realizing what it is and the extent to which you had it can be frightening.
Yeah.
Which of the two did you feel?
No, I felt happy.
Right.
That at least finally God has heard my prayer.
Right.
So I felt like, okay, now that I've been diagnosed, then definitely I'll be cured.
You'll be cured.
Yes, that's what I felt.
There was no string of doubt.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because I had prayed that morning, and the prayer was answered instantly.
Right.
So I felt like once the prayer had answered, then really God is really listening and watching and knowing what I'm going through. And once, we always say that God reveals to redeem, right? Once it's been revealed, that's what I have.
There will be.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. So faith plays a critical role.
I'm somebody
in
who I have that strong faith that if I put myself into something that this will work, it would work.
It would work. It would work. Thank God that you're here.
There are some of us with that crazy faith.
Yeah. And it works. And that's what you need, really. You know, that's what you need to overcome. Not just Graves' disease, but in life in general.
Yeah.
So when you finally found out what you had, what was life like living with that condition? Or what has life been like living with that condition?
Okay, so I started researching because I was in that space. I started researching into what Graves' disease was, what are some of the food that I should avoid. So I started doing my own research, but I was reading research paper, not as people say Dr. Google. No, I always tell people
you're reading research papers.
Yes.
Okay.
So mostly when you read research papers, the research was done on individuals who had suffered that condition. So mostly it's better than just when you go to people just go there and paste anything,
like
put
on Google,
anything.
you just type,
people just type anything. It could be true, it could be false. But when it comes to research that has been sponsored or that are under maybe NIH, grants.gov, Wellcome Trust, all those funding agencies, research that has been done. That was what I was reading, and it really helped me. So within a short time, I had started seeing a lot of changes in me. So I was diagnosed in August, September, thereabout, early September, and then by February, I had really, when you see me, the change was so drastic. I had gone back to how I was looking initially, though I did not gain the weight that I was before, because mostly when you have after you had a child, you put on a bit. With time, the weight sheds off, but I was okay. So after that time, I was supposed to, my levels were normalized, and then I was supposed to make a more a more permanent treatment option, which included a surgery, a Graves' disease, a radioactive iodine to kill the Graves' disease, the overproduction, or the other one was radiation ablation, which is not done in Ghana.
It's not done in Ghana, okay.
So because my baby was less than 5 years, the radioactive iodine wasn't an option because he's young. It has to be 5 years. Children below 5, if you have any child below, they are around you, you can't do that because you'll be emitting radiation. So that was no option. So the only option that was left with was the surgery. And I said, yes, I will do it.
You're not afraid of much, but you needed to be cured anyway.
I needed to. And I didn't want to be on the medication for too long because of the side effect it also has. So I did the surgery. I did the surgery in March 2018. 2018. Yes.
Is it like a day?
No. So the surgery was done on Monday, and I was discharged on Wednesday. Maximum. Even since I started the foundation, the person who has stayed longer after the surgery has stayed 5 days in the hospital.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. No.
So when you were through with the surgery, you felt, there was a great improvement, right? Are you still on medication?
Currently, I'm not on medication for the hormonal replacement because when they did the surgery, they left my parathyroids and it's producing enough of the hormone, so I don't take any replacement medication for that.
Wonderful. On a day-to-day, when you were dealing with this, taking the tough decisions to decide to do the surgery and so on, what was your thought process like on a day-to-day?
On a day-to-day, the thought process was to make sure I get well. to make sure I get well. So I was really poised on taking the medication as I've been instructed to do, drinking enough water, cutting down my stress and all that. So that was what on a day-to-day I was doing. Yeah.
Now, you're married.
Yes.
Right? Of course, you've got three now. Three boys.
I have 3 children.
You have 3.
Boy, girl, boy.
Boy, girl, boy. Okay, wonderful. Now, how about your husband and your, such occurrences and medical issues can take a toll on a marriage, right?
Yeah,
men react to these things differently. Well, how much of an impact did it have on your marriage?
As then he supported. I mean, he was helping take care of the little one. I actually prayed to God for the little one to come on his day born when I found out he was a boy. So they share the same name. The only difference between their name is Asida added to the last born's name. So they have the same name. So he was very supportive. Even when I was on admission for the surgery, he would come in, stay with me till the following morning, go home, go and get the children ready for school, and come back for the 3 days I stayed in the hospital. He was very supportive. I mean, he kept encouraging me back. Before the surgery, when that was the only option, I saw he was afraid, but I told him that I'm not afraid.
You're fine. So generally, thankfully, it didn't have any real impact on the
no, at that time,
like the union.
I mean, it was just support from him and my family. It was just full support. They were supporting me in prayers. They were supporting by encouraging me and all that. So it was okay.
Wonderful. So now, thankfully, you're recovered. After dealing with this, of course, your profession, your medical profession has helped you quite a great deal in dealing with it. When and why did you decide to commit so much time, energy, and resources into the Thyroid Ghana Foundation?
Okay. So you see, growing up, I told you that you can't miss church and all that.
Yes.
My mom used to tell us that if you want God to do something for you, you have to tell God that if you do this, I will do that. Right? So you give a promise. You promise God that, God, I want you to do if you do. So I told God that if I go through the surgery successfully, I will start a foundation to help people, because I felt like I had been in the hospital phase and it took this long. I'm proud to how much more people who had not been there, it means that it had claimed a lot of lives. And I use my mom as an example. I felt like maybe that's what took her life, because the grave disease that I had is autoimmune, and autoimmune ones are genetic. And before she passed, she was sick for like 2 years. She was never diagnosed, and she passed.
So it was similar,
and she had some of the symptoms that I had, though hers was quite severe. She had most of what I had, like the loss of hair, the weight loss, the color changes and all that. She had all those things. And she was in and out of comfort. That time she was in Kumasi, but she was never diagnosed before she passed. So I felt like maybe that is what might have taken her life. So I felt like, how about other people? Then maybe a lot of people had also died out of it. And having a grave disease or having a thyroid condition is not a condemnation. Once they are properly diagnosed, there's early detection, and you are put on the right medication, you get your life back. You get just that sometimes the management and the treatment is a bit expensive, because every time you see a physician, you have to do your lab test, because the medication had to be regulated. So the test and medication per each visit, if it's like say a month duration or 6 weeks, you'll be spending about 1,500 Ghana cedis per each visit. Because you do the test, and then based on it, they will regulate your medication that you have to take.
It's a lot of
it's a lot of for an average an average person.
And what impacts have you found that the foundation has had?
So far we've collaborated with a lot of pharmaceutical companies. We are part of the Thyroid Federation International, and last year on our 5th anniversary, the president of Thyroid Federation International was in Ghana to celebrate it with us. We so far had helped over 1,500 people at different phases. We are in collaboration with the University of Ghana Medical Center, and so far we've done subsidized thyroid surgeries for over 80 people.
That's
we are also this year trying to do another collaboration, but with the Eastern Regional Hospital.
Okay.
So that we want to go beyond Accra, where
a lot of people
because we get a lot of calls from Eastern region and then the OT region, people with the condition. We are trying to help because some of them, even if they have to come to Accra, they don't have anybody they are coming to stay with.
Right.
So the board sat and we decided that this year we'll go beyond Accra. So we're going to Eastern region. Hopefully next year maybe we'll go to Volta, and then go to the region. So we're trying to collaborate with them so that we can support those. So the support comes with a different form. Some we give medication, some we top up the surgery for them, some to we give psychological counseling to both the patient, the family, and sometimes there are organizations that they are working with.
Which is very important.
Exactly. Because sometimes the organization, they don't understand that today you are saying you are okay, tomorrow you are sick.
Exactly. Yeah, very important. So clearly, God answered your prayer.
Yeah.
And then you've given back what you said you would give back, and are touching thousands of lives through it. Now, Nanaja, we're going to get to who you are, say, even outside of health.
Okay.
And outside of having battled Graves' disease successfully, right? Do stay with us here. We'll bring you more. You're welcome back to the Natalie Fort Show. Now, Nanaja, we thank God, really, that you've been healed and successfully making an impact to your organization.
All right.
If you were not into health, what would you be into? What do you
I'll
think
be
you have been
into
doing?
fashion.
Okay.
I'll be into the media space because I like to mentor people. So I also do knowledge transfer.
Right.
So I let me say in traditional language, I teach.
Yeah.
So so I like to transfer knowledge
to others.
Because I
Is
feel
it too
like
late? Is it too late to do? I know you're busy. But do you have any intention of someday picking up your interest in fashion and media?
Not too late because with the fashion, I had my boutiques running. Just that along the line, the dollar thing was so I just had to.
So you'll pick them up again?
Hopefully.
Great.
But now, as for the mentorship and the academic thing, I do it. I do it alongside.
You do it alongside. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. What's your life like on a day-to-day? Say with your kid. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Yeah.
I like to talk to the younger ones. So let's say in the office when I'm after reviewing documents because I'm in research, reviewing documents or seeing patients, I just call especially the younger ones, those doing their national service or internship, ask them where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? And then we talk about all those fun things, and then I talk to them about them. Some of them will tell you some funny things, some things they have some myths about, and all. They try to correct those myths and all those things. So I like to chat.
You like chatting?
Yes, I like chatting. I like to drive. I can drive from here to Boko.
Are you kidding?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Automatic or manual?
I like
both?
to. I just do both. I like to drive. It's my hobby.
Maybe in another life you'd have been like a race car driver in another country too, probably.
Driving is my hobby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you like it? What does it do to you?
So I like to listen to music, right? And so when you're alone, and let's say you want to release stress, you put on your music a bit loud, kakra, you know. You hit the road. I like to listen to gospel. You hit the road, and then you are singing, and I mean, you get fulfilled. It gives me some joy and fulfillment. You free up your mind. You free out your spirit and all that. So I like to drive.
You like driving?
And I can drive for a long time.
Where's the furthest place you've driven to?
Oh, so I've driven to the flower border.
Okay. What kind of a driver are you? Are you like an aggressive driver or just a calm?
No, not calm at all. For that fact, no. And I really like to speed.
I would like to go on a drive with you.
Oh yes, I'm sure you enjoy it. I'm sure you enjoy it. Let's just go to Tema.
Yeah, that would be fun. One day. That would be a lot of fun.
Or Akosomo.
Yeah, Akosomo.
Side,
right, that'll be fun. It's a deal.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. You enjoy the drive. You have fun.
Yeah. Have you taken any? Say, do you go like on road trips with your kids?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We have. Yeah. There's sometimes maybe on a Sunday. When we just even just this Saturday, I took the two. The first one is uni.
Okay.
So I took the two. We drove almost through the whole of Accra, and then after that, you take them out to sit somewhere and have a good meal with them, and we do that from time to time.
What kind of a mother are you? How would you describe yourself as a mom?
Oh, so I would describe myself as a friend. I'm a friend to my children.
Yeah.
They can come in, they can tell me anything. They can tell me who they have a crush on. We discuss all those things. And, I mean, so I would say that I'm a friend, more friend kind of a mother to them than like a mother. You know, some homes, some children can't even say how they feel about I tell them I'm your friend.
Right.
So whatever you tell your friends, tell me. Because if you don't do that, that is where sometimes they get friends and they confine in their friends. They give them the wrong advice and all that. So my children are not afraid of me. They come, we talk about anything at all. They can just come and see whatever.
Which is very healthy.
And we talk about we talk about
which is very, very healthy.
Exactly. So that's the kind of mother I am.
That you are. So you're friends to your kids.
Yes, I am.
They can actually engage with you.
Oh, yes.
Which is very important.
And mostly when they come from school, they come and give me the gist.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
So they gossip, healthy gossip.
Do you remember this, my mates, who is called, they studied this and this and that. Yeah, so
very important.
Those kind of just, they come and tell me what happened day to day, baby.
Yeah? Very important. Now, if you were to describe what an ideal, you're a busy woman, right? You do a lot of work, and a lot of your work has to do with people. So you're giving a lot of your time and energy. If you were to describe an ideal vacation, absolute rest, what would it look like?
An ideal vacation. I think I would still like what I'm doing.
You continue to work. Are you a workaholic?
Kind of.
Hey, you are.
Kind of.
You are.
Yeah. Right. So far as what I'm doing is impacting life. I mean, sometimes if somebody asks me what motivates you to do what you do, because sometimes you even commit your personal money and all that, I tell them that tomorrow I want to be remembered if I'm not here. If somebody mentioned my name, if it wasn't Nanajwa, I wouldn't have had my health back. And I mean, a lot of people say that, and it gives me some joy and fulfillment. I mean, health. Sometimes somebody will say, there's a woman who, whenever she calls me, she say, "Oh, Auntie Adra, oh, they are my jinkwa." And I said, no, it's only Jesus, not jinkwa. He just uses us as vessels. So you should just call God Ajinkwa.
Yeah.
We are just medium that God uses to help people. So I just want to be remembered for that impact that I'm having on people, especially when it comes to life. Because, you know, people get so anxious and get desperate when they are sick. Everybody gets desperate.
That's true.
Because everybody is afraid of death.
Yeah.
True of us.
No, I mean, no one is eagerly looking forward to it.
Yes, nobody looks forward to death. So when somebody is sick, and especially they're in that situation where they don't know what is happening, you've not been told this is what is causing this. I mean, the anxiety level is that high.
It's depressing, actually.
Exactly, and it can depress people. So mostly when I come in contact with them, and even some of them, when they tell them what they have, they have no idea what it is. Especially people when they tell them they have Graves' disease or Hashimoto, the extreme autoimmune condition of thyroid disease. When they tell them, they are lost.
They're lost.
So mostly when some doctors refer them, go and talk to, have you heard of thyroid gland family? Go and talk to Nana. She will have time because, I mean, patient-doctor ratio is high. So sometimes they don't get the time to explain it into details. And they also advise you don't go and read from Google because it will scare you and will make your condition worse.
And it can inform you.
Yes, they can misinform you. Exactly. So they come and then, so like that's legacy that I want to leave.
It's restful.
Yes,
it's relaxing.
It's relaxing because when somebody comes to me and they are anxious, and by the time they are leaving, they are smiley.
That gives you joy.
Of course. I mean,
so your vacation now, we know what to do to allocate. Just put you back to work with it, right? But you enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it so much.
Yeah. What's your ultimate big vision for the foundation?
To have a whole facility whereby we'll be able to do free surgeries, free.
Completely free.
Yes. Currently, we're trying to collaborate with some institutions abroad who now they will come to Ghana and do it in collaboration with other hospitals. But of course, the hospital you have to pay something. So we're just hoping that with time, the foundation will have its own building where the collaboration will be that great, where we could have them. Because we have some institutions, they have the things. Maybe sometimes a bit near expiration, maybe 6 months expiration. They can ship them to you, and then they will come and do the surgery, and the patient may not pay anything. That's what we're looking forward to
achieving. Wonderful.
Because we have a lot of patients. Even sometimes we help them out. There are still some who even can't provide. If you ask them to add up 1,000 Ghana, they can't even.
So you're supporting them, but what to add is not even there.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a big vision.
Now, finally, what will your words be to someone who happens to be battling Graves' disease as we speak, specifically to a woman, like a working woman? What would you say to them?
Okay, so I'll tell the person that you need to be strong. One, they should let their faith be bigger than their fear. You see, if you have faith and you hold on to your faith, in the Bible they say that faith moves mountains, right? So they should hold on to her faith and make sure that she make declarations that will make greater impact into the condition, not to sit down and be afraid. If you listen to people, during my battling time, people will tell me, it's somebody who has done you juju because you were just promoted. It's somebody who has done you. If you follow people, you fall into a ditch. And then by the time you realize, you lose your life. Hold on to your faith. The God that you know and you serve, cry to that God. And make sure that when you go to the hospital, whatever they tell you, follow it. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, because some people, when they fall on and they get the disease, their family reject them because of how the changes look like. If you have nobody to talk to, come and talk to me. I'm available.
Natalie, really, you're clearly a woman of service, right, and impact, and it's been wonderful engaging with you. I thank God for sustaining your life, and I'm sure He'll do so for many, many years.
Oh yes,
and we'll see the growth of the foundation.
Amen.
Thank you
for
being on the show.
Thank you.
I hope you've found the conversation as inspiring as I have. Now, next on the show, Natalie, we've got Fantastic. That's the game segment. Do stay with us. Played at some point in your childhood, because most people have, but it's called Stare, right? That's what I've named it. Now we're going to have to look at each other without blinking for a minute. That's a target time.
Wow.
I know. Okay?
Okay.
So you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. 1 minute.
Okay.
We'll see who blinks first.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Natalie, you blinked. You blinked. You blinked.
Oh,
You have blinked.
failed on my own
Oh
day.
yes, you have.
Embarrassing.
No. So you remember you were at the beginning you were saying that it's a game that maybe I have
Played.
known when I was young.
Did you?
My mother used to say, with this your big eyes, when you open it wide to somebody, the person will run away. So I used to do like this.
Oh my God.
So I know
So that's a trick.
Oh yeah.
So next one I should go like that.
Oh yes.
Okay. Okay. What's the actual
Because you open and there's just a little
Right.
you just blink. So you just open it. Once you open, there's already enough
Just
air.
open it,
Oh
stay,
yes. Oh
yeah,
yes.
oh, God.
You should.
Well, you won that. I'll practice.
Yes, you should.
Natalie, it's been absolutely wonderful having you on the show. You're such a pleasant person, and I enjoy chatting with you.
Oh, great.
And we wish you all the very best in the
Thank
years
you.
ahead on a personal front, with the foundation and everything that you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Now, on behalf of the entire team here at the Natalie Ford Show, we've got a little something for you
Okay.
to say thank you for coming on this show and on all your exploits. This is from us.
This is beautiful.
Oh, well, and it's wow.
Me.
Yeah,
It's
it is you.
Just yes.
And of course,
yes,
with your
with the
shirt,
foundation.
Yes. Foundation. Natalie, thank you.
My signature.
Your signature, right? And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yes.
logo, like a flag, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Of
Thank
Ghana.
you very much.
Thank you too. And this is done by a young artist by name Victor.
Okay.
His company is Imagine Flip.
Okay.
So you should also check it out online if you want a similar piece for
Sure,
everyone.
I will do that.
Yes?
Thank you very much, Victor. And may God bless your work at Imagine Flip.
Amen.
Thank you.
So here you go, from all of us here at the show to you.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
This is beautiful.
Glad you love
Thank
it.
you.
Glad you love it. Glad you love it. Absolutely glad. And it's got your natural hair. Your natural hair is so
yes.
lovely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And Adra, thank you for
Thank
being
you
on the
also.
show. Thank
I'm
you
most
so much.
grateful, and this is very beautiful. It will be
Glad you
right
love
in
it.
my office.
I'll be coming to your
Yeah,
to
you
visit
should,
you, and then
you
we'd have
should.
our road
Yes.
trip.
Yes.
Yeah? Perfect. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for watching this episode of the Natalie Ford Show. Next is Proud of My Hustle.
GHOne ni mananke kuombi se na mo le fi oshi wo manage I told me staffer I'm proud of my hustle.
Because we'll put the spotlight on you here on the Natalie Ford Show on Proud of My Hustle. Now, as always, as we're wrapping up the show, I end with Natalie's take. And I could chat with Nanajwa on and on and on. But one thing that really stands out to me from her journey is her sense of faith. You know, battling Graves' disease, at no point did she tempted to give up on herself, to even want to say, possibly end her life or feel like that was the end of it all. She put God at the center. Oftentimes you may be going through something, be it health-wise, financially, whatever it may be, and we may remove God from the equation, making it so much more difficult. So this is just to charge you, and even myself, to remember to put God at the center of it all, and be positive, be hopeful, be prayerful, be specific when you pray, and you might just find out after all of it that it's worked out for your good and the good of many others. Thank you so much for watching the Natalie Ford Show this evening. Until next week, we'll bring you more conversations that matter. Have a wonderful evening.